Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to create Android widgets using Jetpack glance in Expo React Native application. So let's get started. So firstly we will if you don't know what Jetpack glance is, it is kind of like Jetpack Compose, which is a declarative UI library for creating user interface in native Android. Things will be more clearer as we go along. So first let's create a Expo React Native application. I will be using this blank TypeScript template, but feel free to use whatever you feel like is correct for your application. I want to keep things minimal with less boilerplate code, that's why I'm using this. So I'll just copy this command. So this is the command to generate a project. I'll just paste it over here. Now it will ask me for my app name. I'll just name it as my app. It will create the project for me. Now we will have to write a lot of native code for this. So because of this we will have to create the Android folder as well as native modules. So in the meantime what I will do is I'll first open my project, okay, and then first we'll have to go to this particular URL to create the Android folder. So I'll just open this over here. Now here first you will have to select Android device. Here you will have to select development build. I have disabled EAS. I am on Mac OS. Select your own operating system. I have already installed Watchman. I have installed Cas Zulu. I am so for Mac OS I have already installed Android Studio as well, so I don't need to worry about all this stuff. So in case if you have not done all this, you will have to do this. And once this is done, we'll have to copy this particular command. Then I will just cd into my app and I'll paste it over here. Now it will again install some dependencies, then again scroll down, and then we'll have to run this particular command to create the actual Android folder. So let's just wait for this to complete. Now I can paste this. Now previously it used to ask me for a package name, but now they are automatically assigning some package name. It asks you a package name, just enter some package name. Now at the very end, once it creates the Android folder, it will throw an error for me. This error is because I have not installed any Android emulator and I have not connected my real Android device as well. Later on I will show you how to run this. Like I will run it on a real Android device, so I don't want to anyways run it now, so this is fine. So we have, if you see, so here you can see we have created the Android folder. Now to write the native code we have to create a module as well. So for that you can go and check this particular documentation if you want to, but all we need to do is we just need to run this particular command. So I'll again come over here and just paste this particular command. Now it will ask me some question like what should be our module name and everything. I'll keep everything as default. I'll press enter. Okay, so this is done. Now I have so I will just close this for now. Now I don't want to confuse you guys too much, but here as you can see I have created another project from which I will be copying a bit of code, but this is a native Android project. So this one not actually a native Android project, this is an Expo project itself, but it is I have written everything in a wrong way, so don't get confused. So first I'll open some files, don't worry too much about it. So first I'll open this build.gradle. So what I will do first is I will require these two dependencies inside our application. So what I will do, I'll go to modules, I'll go to Android, I'll go to build.gradle file, and here I will add the dependency section, and here I will just paste it like this and close the dependencies section as well. So here you can see this is the first thing which we need to do. So these are the Jetpack glance dependencies which we have to add. Once we do that, we'll have to go to the main Android folder, go to build.gradle over here, and here I will change the Kotlin version to 1.9.25. you can use 1.9.24 as well, but there is one thing which I will just show you now. Again, this is my old project, you don't have to worry about it. I'll just copy this particular part, I'll close this. So here I have changed it to 1.9.25, right, the Kotlin version. Then you will have to go to app, build.gradle over here, and here you will have to go to the Android block. So this Android block, and here we will have to paste it like this. Okay, so first we are doing build features compose as true, and here I am setting the Kotlin compiler extension as 1.5.15. Now this version depends on the Kotlin version which you are using. So I'm using 1.9.25, so I can use 1.5.15. if you are using Kotlin 1.9.24, then here you will have to use 1.5.14. and this packaging options also you will have to just hard code, like this is boilerplate code which you have to write while integrating Jetpack glance. Okay, so these steps are done. So I have just added a dependency inside build.gradle of our module. Then inside build.gradle of our main Android folder I have done this 1.9.25, and then inside build.gradle of our app I have added this particular part. So this is done. Now I'll just close everything. Next I will go to the src folder android manifest.xml. Now here I will also open src main android manifest.xml of this particular thing, because I need to copy some code. So firstly I'll copy this and I'll paste it over here. Then I will come over here and I need the application tag, so I'll just copy the application tag over here, something like this. I'll close the application tag as well, application. Okay, now again I'll just open my practice project. You don't have to worry about this. Main android manifest.xml and I'll copy some code. I'll close the android manifest. So here again I'm inside the android manifest.xml of our module, and here I will have to paste this particular code. So here whenever we define any Jetpack glance android widget, we have to define a receiver. So that's what I'm doing over here. So here we'll have to create a Kotlin file called my app widget receiver, which we will look at later on. I'll just do proper indentation. Okay, and here is our receiver. It takes exported is true. We will have to create this particular file. Intent filter, this is boilerplate code android.appwidget.action appwidget update, and here is our metadata as well, which again the name is boilerplate code, which you have to just copy paste. Then here we will have to create an XML folder, and inside that we will have to create this particular file. Now for this particular file, our min HDK version of our application is 24, I guess 24 or 25. Now there are some attributes for this particular file which are only available from HDK 28 and some are available from HDK 31. So we will have to create 3 separate files, and for this 3 separate files we'll have to create 3 separate XML folders. So for that what you will have to do, inside main, I'm inside our modules. Okay, then we'll have to create a folder called res. Inside that we will have to create a folder called XML first. Then inside res I will have to create another folder called XML-v28, and here I will have to create another folder called XML-v31. Now inside all of this file I will have to create a file called my app widget info.xml. So I'll quickly create those files. I'll copy this, click over here, I'll paste this, then I'll open this and I'll paste over here as well. Okay, so this is done. Now again I'll close everything else so that you guys are not confused. I'll click on this my app widget info.xml, which is present inside the mail XML folder. Again I'll just go back to my practice projects to copy some code. You don't have to worry about this. So I'll just open this, and I'll again copy this code and I'll paste it over here. So basically we have to define an app widget provided XMLS Android, resize mode horizontal vertical. Our widget will be a static widget, so this is the update after how many times your widget should get updated. Don't keep it as 1 second, it will not work for you. I think this is an hour, I think it is in milliseconds. And mean height is 400 dp, mean width is 400 dp, mean resize height 400, mean resize width 400. And initial layout, this comes from the Jetpack glance dependency itself. So when we try to create a widget, it takes a second or two to create the actual widget, however simple your widget may be. So in that case we first have to define a progress bar. So this glance default loading layout already provides us a progress bar, so we don't have to worry about it. Then similarly for this file as well, again I'll go back to my practice project and copy from it. Now it is exactly the same, so I'll just copy this and I'll paste it over here. So it is exactly the same what we saw inside our XML folder, Only thing is I have added one more key called widget features. Rest everything remains the same. Even I don't know what is the purpose of this. I'm just following the documentation. Next we'll have to go to v31 xml file. Again I'll just go back to my practice project to copy some code. I'll just open this, I'll copy it, I'll close it, and I'll paste it over here. Now here we have added few more things like max resize height, max resize width, target cell height, target cell width. Rest everything remains the same. Okay, so this all stuff is done. Then we will also need to create a layout folder. So in case if there is some error inside our Jetpack glance code, we need to provide a fallback UI. So for that I will have to provide this. So I'll just create a layout folder. Okay, let me see my practice project, what name I have given. So it is I have given it as custom error layout.xml. so I'll just create a file over here, custom error layout.xml. again I'll just open it and copy some code. So I'll open this and I'll paste it over here. Now I have just copied some code. So basically we are defining a text view in case if our Jetpack glance widget is not shown. Now here do remember that this particular text view has an ID. Now here I am defining some static string. It is possible to manipulate this particular string as well via programmatically, which I will show you later on. So that's why there are two ways of defining error layouts inside Jetpack glance, which I will show you later, but do remember this ID. Okay, so this is done as well. Now we'll have to go to the Java folder. Now again I am inside my practice project, anonymous. So firstly I'll have to create this file. So this was the file which we were referring inside our Android manifest. So I'll just create this particular file. Now here I will have to copy the package name. So I'll just copy the package name, I'll paste it over here. Now again I'll just go back, sorry, not this one. I'll just go back over here to my app widget receiver. I'll just copy this and I'll paste it over here. So here I'll just paste it. So here it just extends from glance app widget receiver, and here we are just doing overriding this particular variable which is there, and here we are assigning another Kotlin file called my widget. So I'll have to create this Kotlin file. This Kotlin file of my widget will contain the actual Jetpack glance code. Again I'll just copy this package name. Okay, I'll close everything else. Now again I'll just go back to my practice project to copy it, and I'll copy everything. I'll paste it over here. We don't require the package name, so I'll just remove this. So here you can see I have bunch of imports, so you can just pause the video and copy all these imports which I have. Then here you can see we are extending from glance app widget, and it takes an error UI layout inside its constructor. Now I have commented this out, but there are two ways of defining errors. So one, you can either use this error UI layout, or you can override this particular method. I am using this, but if you are using something like this, you can just remove this particular code, this part. Okay, so here if you want to uncomment this, you can just remove this, and it will directly refer to the custom error layout.xml file which we have created. But I don't want to use this particular way because it is not customizable. The hard-coded text inside our text view will be visible. There is nothing wrong in that. If you don't want to update the error code, then I think this is a better approach. But I also want to show you how to update text of your error layout as well. Then in size mode, I have kept it as size mode exact. You can play around with this value. Then here we are overriding a method called provide glance, and here we are using provide content. Here is our glance theme, and here we are setting size to it. Then I have defined a box modifier of color red, and I have applied a padding of 30 dp. Then I have defined one text as well, and on inside the text I'm just doing hello widgets, and I'm also displaying the width of the screen. I'm displaying the width because in some cases you might want to change the UI of your widget depending on what width and height it is. So that's why I'm just displaying the width in case if you're interested. And here I'm just defining some text style. So this is what Jetpack glance is, kind of like Jetpack compose, but here while defining modifier you have to use glance modifier. Now this particular part is not working. I don't know why. I think this is a bug with Jetpack glance library itself. Hopefully in the future it might get fixed, but anyways this is pretty simple. So box is basically like a div in HTML or a view of React Native. So hopefully you got the point, and here we are overriding this particular method to display error. So here you can see we are displaying remote views. Here I am passing our error layout screen, and then we just do remote view dot set text view, pass the ID of our text view, and here you can manipulate whatever text you want to display inside your text view. And then we just do app widget manager dot get instance, pass the context dot update widget app widget ID, and pass our remote view. So I think that should be it from the widget creation perspective. But if you notice, like creating an Android widget, like a user will never know if your app contains a widget or not. So for that, what we will do is we will create one button inside our app, and on click of it, it will automatically create the widget for us. So for that, what we can do, I can go to modules, my module. Firstly, I will go to src my modules.types.ts. Again, I'll just go back to my practice project to copy some code. I'll go in the meantime, what other thing I will do is I will open Android Studio. Okay, and you don't have to do this. I'm opening the Android folder of our application inside Android Studio. Reason being, if I have made any mistake, I can quickly check it before running it inside Android Studio, so I can rectify it. Again, coming back to our code, I'll just go to my practice project again. Where exactly it is. Okay, so this is the module, right? App to, yeah, my module src my module. So here firstly we'll have to define a method like create widget. So I'll just copy this method and I'll paste it over here so that TypeScript is aware about it. Then I will go to app.tsx. Again, I'll go to app.tsx of my practice project, and here I will first include our module. So you can do something like this. Okay, then we will create a button, and on click of it, we just call the create widget method which we have defined. So I'll just do, and I also need to import touchable opacity as well, so I will do this. Okay, now we'll have to write code for this as well. So I'll have to go to the main Android folder, go to src java, and here we'll have to go to my module.kt. Again, I'll go back to my practice project, module Android src main java expo modules, my module.kt. Sorry, it is not getting clicked. Okay, so firstly I will copy some imports. So these are the imports which we need to copy. So I'll just copy this and I'll paste it over here inside our application. Then we need to get hold of our context as well as activity. So I'll just copy this and I'll paste it over here. Okay, next we have to define a method so called create widget. So the method name should be the same what we have defined it inside our TypeScript file. I'll close this now. So here hopefully you got this. Inside our my module.kt, we have to add 4 imports, and we have to also define this particular thing. Now all this code is boilerplate code which is present by default. So I'll just go after this view and just check after this view ends. I'll just add some space. There should be 2 curly braces. Before that, I will just paste this create widget method. Now this unfortunately is only possible, this will only work above Android O. So maybe you can create one more method just to check whether the user is above Android O or not, and return a boolean back to the React Native side to hide or display the button depending on whether the user is on Android O or not. But here I am ignoring that. I don't want to make this too complex. So here we can see we just do app widget manager dot get instance. Then here we do component, pass our app widget receiver class, and if it is request is pin app widget supported, then we just create a launch intent by passing the package name, and then we just do a success callback, pass our activity, pass the flag update current, flag mutable, and then we just do app widget manager dot request pin app widget provider null success callback. Okay, so I think that should be it. Now what I'll do, I'll just quickly check in Android Studio if there is any error or not. I don't think there should be any error, but better be safe than sorry. Okay, so this looks good, this also looks okay. Okay, here I'm getting an error, so I will just remove this anyways. This is not working for me. So what code I need to remove is, I'll just have to go to my widget.kt, and I'll remove this particular part. This is anyways not working, like I was facing the same issue. Here we are inside our module, right? That's why we don't have access to our main activity. That's why it was complaining. So I've just removed that anyways. Okay, I don't think there is any error. So let me just try to run this application and see if it works or not. Okay, so there are two issues which I encountered. So first one was related to Kotlin IR loading, lowering, something like that. You don't have to understand it. All you need to do to fix that particular error, you will have to go to modules, my modules. You will have to go to build.gradle of your module, and remember this particular code we already added inside the build.gradle over here. This particular build.gradle, so same thing I have added it over here inside this particular Android block. So make sure you do this. Now second error which I am facing, which I faced in React Native as well, it says that version of depends on Kotlin version 1.9.25. I am using Kotlin 1.9.25. if you see over here, still I am getting this issue. I don't know why, where else I need to change this. So I will just downgrade it this to 1.9.24. then you will have to come to this build.gradle file. Here you will have to downgrade this to 1.5.14, and in this module build.gradle file also I will downgrade this to 1.5.14. then I'll try to rerun the application. I'm rerunning it from Android Studio because it quickly gives me proper error. That's why I'm running it. You don't have to run it. You can just use the Expo command to run your application. Okay, so I did one more mistake. For this you will have to go to this particular build.gradle file of your app, and we don't really need this. So we can just remove this. We only need it inside the build.gradle of our module, which we have already added. So make sure you make that particular change as well. Okay, so here is my app running on a real Android device. I will just close this. Okay, and here you can see this is our create widget button. Now I will not click on this. I'll just go to my home screen, and this is my app, right? So I will just long press on my app icon. I'll click on widgets. So this is one of the way to create widgets. Now this 4x5 which you see, I think this is the cell size. I'm not really sure, but I'll just click on it, and then I'll click on add, and here you can see it showed the loading indicator, and then it showed our widget. Now our widget was pretty simple. That's why it just showed hello widgets as well as the size of the widget. The next thing which I want to show it to you is I will just remove this particular widget as well. Now I will go back to our app. So this is our app, right? Now I will click on create widget, and here you can see it pops up this dialog. I'll click on add again, and it had added our widget. Now if I again go back to our home screen, here you can see our widget. If you're not able to see it, just swipe your home screen. It should be somewhere. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.